Hi, friends. It's Maria Luz of Maria Luz Online. I'm an astrologer, certified hypnotist, and psychic medium, and I'm here with your Astro Energy report for September 5th. And I mentioned this last week, but I do have something new for my website. The coupon code AstroHip, that's good for 20% off for all the viewers of YouTube and listeners of my podcast, is now valid for all services and products. So I've done some polishing of my website. You may know or not know, but I'm not the best at administrative tasks. So anyway, I've tried to improve it and I think it looks pretty good and easy to navigate. So check that out for the services. And I also have gift cards now and personalized written reports if you don't prefer to meet in person. So energy drivers for this week are the retrograde motion and the late degree of the planet positions for some of our heavy hitters, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And then it's not quite coming this week, but very much coming on the horizon, and we're in the shadow of that lunar eclipse on September 17 in Pisces. And I started with a theme last week. So if you haven't watched that one or listened to that one, you may want to go back. But if not, no worries. I am a Scorpio rising, and with that, I tend to just go deep. And I mentioned last week, I struggle with trying to condense the information, especially when I see something significant happening. So we'll see how this goes with today's picking up where we left off. And the second theme that I've been seeing is this overarching theme of the culmination of cycles of spiritual consciousness. And I left you with the Sabian symbol for the new moon in Virgo last week. And so let's look at the Sabian symbols for the other prominent planetary movers that happened during that time frame, because their energies continue into this week and beyond. And the first one would be that point where Mercury stationed direct. As you can see, I get very excited about the Sabian symbols. I am a word person after all. So that was for the Sabian symbol of 22 degrees Leo, because remember, we round up for the Sabian symbols. And so it is a carrier pigeon fulfilling its mission, the return of the soul energies to the central self after a significant experience, adventuring practical enlightenment. And then for Venus entering Libra, so that would be the Sabian symbol of 1 degrees Libra, a butterfly preserved and made perfect with a dart through it, the symbolic death that is initiation into spiritual reality and wisdom, sudden awakening, craving for inner light. And then finally, Pluto entering Capricorn, which is the Sabian symbol for 30 degrees Capricorn. Directors of a large firm meet in secret conference, activity of inner formative elements of real personality, massing of soul energies in an emergency, spiritual leadership. So you can see the echoes of our discussion last week that was about examining what we've allowed to manifest under our watch as a collective. And especially for the majority of us who are somewhere in that middle between the vast divide of the ultra wealthy and the people who are very under resourced. And it appears to me that we're going to be asked to do some soul searching about who we model our lives after and who we allow to run them, and then to call upon our inner leader. And even Neptune falls into this theme because it's moving into Aries in 6 months. And this is essentially a reset for a spiritual cycle around the zodiac from Aries to Pisces, which takes 164 years. And Aries, again, is where the North Node has been as well. So again, there's this focus on self, what we need to take accountability for. And also remember, the eclipses are often markers of key turning points. And the one on the 17th in Pisces, especially, because the nodes of the moon will change signs, and, completion of yet another cycle in January. And I bring in the nodes because that's where eclipses happen. And then the third theme is getting our spiritual house in order. So, again, more spiritual themes. And this is emphasized by Neptune at that very end of Pisces and the end of the zodiac. And it's been there in Pisces since 2011. And when it enters Aries in March, again, it's a pretty significant new cycle for everyone. And as the planets move through Virgo, this is the last time in our lifetime that we'll see this axis play out with Neptune in the sign it rules, because Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces. And there's also that lunar eclipse that I mentioned in Pisces, and that falls between Neptune and Saturn. And it's the first one on this Virgo Pisces axis since 2016. Um, Another election year for the US, actually. So, yes, sorry, had to go back through space and time for a moment. Um, And you may have had a preview at the new moon that just happened in Virgo, because it fell on this axis. So think back to Monday and what it brought up for you. And remember, the moon represents feelings, and being together with the sun at a new moon may have highlighted any lack of alignment between thought, action, and emotion. And the Sabian symbol almost couldn't fit more perfectly for this eclipse. Sorry, 20, which is 26 degrees Pisces. A new moon reveals that it's time for people to go ahead with their different projects. Polyphony of values as man lives at various levels of consciousness, inner call to realization, transmutation of meaning. So, even though it is in reality, in our day and time, that is going to be a full moon, the Sabian symbol raises up the new moon. So I thought that was super interesting. And I mentioned that there was probably some kind of pre-shadow happening on Monday with that new moon in Virgo. So Virgo and Pisces offer us hints at how exactly to get our spiritual house in order, the theme that I just raised. Um, because what these signs share is the concept of devotion and purification. They just perform these activities in vastly different ways. So they also share the more undesirable tendencies towards fanaticism and martyrdom. So there's that. But I think it's time to just start thinking about, start thinking about this axis of Virgo and Pisces in your life. And when I talk about the axis between signs, I really want us to encompass the entire axis and not just the very poles of it, the opposite. Uh, so that's something, additional for us to always think about. And uh, even though I largely talk about what I see in the collective energy, especially when it's these slower moving outer planets, you can always look to your own birth chart and see where these signs and planets lie, and you can do this deeper dive and find out, what your specific call to action or to reflection is, based upon this energy. And I thank you so much. I appreciate you watching, listening, as I continue my experiment. And sorry, my dog is saying it's time to go. So thank you. Love you. Bye.